Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it is so beautiful in Indianapolis today. It's like 60 degrees, it's kind of sunny, clouds, sunny. It's beautiful outside today. People are walking in the neighborhood. I just got back from hanging out with my cousin today, got my hair cut earlier, had my coffee out earlier at Dunkin' Donuts. It's just been such a fantastic day. And so I'm getting ready to make a video for one of my other channels, and I thought, to relax, why don't I read some meditation? So I brought out the Melody Beatty books. Can't pronounce it. After all these years of reading these, you would think that by now I would, know these by heart, these meditations by heart. But I brought out the two Melody Beatty books, and so I thought that we would go in and see what Melody Beatty has to say to us today. All right, so let's start with the language of letting go. Today is February 21st. Let's see what she's saying to us today. Since I just randomly pulled these out, I'm hoping that they speak to me in a way that I need them to. All right, February 21st, living in the present. The present moment is all we have. Yes, we have plans and goals, a vision for tomorrow, but now is the only time we possess, and it is enough. We can clear our mind of the residue of yesterday. We can clear our mind of fears of tomorrow. We can be present now. We can make ourselves available to this moment, this day. It is by being fully present now that we reach the fullness of tomorrow. Have no fear, child, a voice whispers. Have no regrets. Relinquish your resentments. Let me take your pain. All you have is the present moment. Be still. Be here. Trust. All you have is now. It is enough. Today I will affirm that all is well around me when all is well within. It's such a fantastic and interesting meditation, especially where I'm at in my life right now. For those of you that watch my vlog, and I think I talked about it over here as well, I had decided that going into 2024, one of my main goals for the year, one of the things I wanted to work towards, was staying in the present moment and trying to appreciate every moment I was given and be grateful for the small things in life. And, one of the reasons why I had made that decision and was leaning towards that is, and I've shared this on my vlog a lot, I haven't really talked at length about it over here, is because I continue to pull myself back to 2 years ago when the accident occurred. And I find it very, very difficult to live in the now and appreciate the now. I'm filled with so much remorse and guilt. I feel so horrible for everything that happened. And when I wake up every day, that's immediately where my mind goes to, And I've shared on my other channels working on my OCD. And, that was something that I did for 6 months. Was I avidly every day worked on my OCD, was doing deep therapy sessions working on my OCD. When I started working through my rituals, and I'd say at this point I'm probably 80-85% gotten rid of my rituals, and the ones that remain are not even the ones that are difficult for me to work through. They're the ones that I'm kind of not even really aware of that still exist and things like that, and so they just kind of come out of nowhere, out of the blue, and I'll be like, oh wow, I haven't done that for a while or whatever, but I can remember when I started working through my rituals, and I would get rid of this one, and rituals are things that you do over and over again compulsively if you have obsessive compulsive disorder. And I would get rid of one and I get rid of another one, and I was working really hard at getting rid of these rituals and pushing through them, and it was very scary. One of the things that goes along with my obsessive compulsive disorder is this idea that if I do these things, then nothing bad will happen. And one of the reasons I've discovered in therapy that these OCD traits came out after the accident primarily, they had existed for long before that, but they came out fully after the accident, was because it was a situation that I couldn't control, and in my head, I was kind of trying to make sense of it and trying to assert some kind of control over a situation that I had no control over. And that I have all these feelings and this remorse and this guilt associated with that. And so for me, these OCD traits, I know this sounds strange unless you live it, but in some way was me trying to assert some kind of control over that, or from anything bad happening in the future. That's always where my mind goes, right? And so when I worked through these rituals, it was like, I remember it feeling very similar to when I first got sober, and, you know, I had stripped away, you know, all the defenses of drinking and drugging, and here I was just a person with just these, you know, raw emotions, and I'm crying all the time, and I feel so sorry, and I feel so bad, you know, for the families involved and everything like that, and I almost can't even put words to it, and I'm just like, some days I'm just kind of like, you know, I can't even connect two thoughts, and, you know, whatever, and so when those rituals were gone, you know, that's what came out, because I was no longer putting these defenses up against all of my authentic feelings and emotions. Very much like when I got sober, like I said, you know, that when I got sober, you know, over 29 years ago, that all these feelings and emotions that I had from my childhood and from growing up and relationships and things like that, it's like they came flooding out because I didn't know what to do with them anymore, and drinking and drugging had muted them for so long that now it just was these raw emotions that I had with no defenses or, you know, anything to guard them or to deal with them. And so I had to deal with these emotions appropriately and work through the pain and, you know, work through these emotions. And that's why now that I don't have the OCD traits and the rituals and things, well, I have the traits, but I don't have the rituals anymore, you know, that all these emotions, which I knew and I felt inside, they're coming out like all over the place, right? So I wake up every single day and I live as if it's 2 years ago, and I really struggle with that. It's one of the things that I've worked really, really hard, you know, in therapy with. And, you know, I talked about this in a vlog the other day, and I got so many comments that people were like, Peter, this was a medical emergency. There was nothing that you could have done about it. You know, you've got to forgive yourself. You've got to move through this, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing anybody can, and it's so nice that people say those things to me. I'm so appreciative of it. But there's nothing that anybody can say to me that can take away the guilt and the remorse that I have. I mean, that's work that I have to do on my own. And, you know, I am a big believer in, somebody said something the other day. They said it's not about forgiving yourself, it's allowing yourself to find grace. And it was so interesting reading that comment. I was like, God, that's kind of like a really beautiful comment. You know, I don't know that this is about forgiving myself. I don't know that this is maybe not about allowing myself to have grace as I move forward through this and allowing myself to live in the present, you know. And then somebody else commented and they said, if you do not allow yourself to move forward and live in the present, you don't allow yourself to enjoy your life, then all of it was for nothing. And that is sometimes my go-to on that. But then I feel immediately guilty that is my go-to, you know, that my immediate thought after that is, why him, not me? Like, why am I still here? Like, that shouldn't be the case. And no matter what anybody says or whatever, like, I can't make that right in my head, you know? Like, it's just not how it was supposed to be. It's just how it is. And so I find myself constantly pulled back to 2 years ago, and it's something that I've worked very, very deeply on in therapy, and I'm still there, you know. I'm not a good example of living in the present, which is why I made it one of my goals for this year, was to actively every single day be so grateful for another day here and try to live my life to the most that I possibly can, in being, you know, good to people and being kind to people and being the best version of myself that I possibly can, and being extremely grateful for each and every moment, the small ones the most, because I think those are the ones that really matter in the end, and the relationships we build with people and things like that. And I still struggle with it every single day because I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like it's not fair, and it's not, and, you know, it's not fair that I'm here and he's not, and so it feels kind of like a cheat to some degree, and I don't even really know how to explain it more than that. But reading a meditation about living in today is fantastic for me, and it's great for me to hear, but I'm not there yet, you know? Like we say in recovery, I'm still a work in progress. I don't know when I'll get there. I don't even know what that looks like, you know? Sometimes, you know, like, I think for me, I've talked to other people that have been in similar situations as mine, you know, and they'll say things like, well, you know, at some point you have to do this and at some point you have to do that. And I think for me, like, this is kind of something I've come to terms with, and we all deal with things differently. I think it's important for me to remember. I don't want to live in it, you know? Like, in recovery, there's a saying that we say that we don't close the door on the past, nor do we forget it. I don't want to close the door on the past, but I also don't want to forget it, you know? I want to remember. I think it's important to remember, and I think it's important to live my life out of respect, and to always remember that. But that's hard, and like I said, I'm a work in progress. So there's a truck coming down the street. I'm working towards, you know, living in the moment. I'm working towards being present. But it's hard. It's a struggle. It's difficult, you know? So it's better for me to know that I'm working on something than just to have pushed it aside and say, there's no reason to work on it because it's never going to happen for me, you know? Someday I might get there. Someday I may get close. But I do know for me, it's important for me to live in the present and enjoy each moment while at the same time remembering what has happened and remembering, and not just with the accident, but remembering that, you know, all of the profound moments of my life and all the people that have come before me, like, and paying homage to all of that. That's important to me as well. And so I'm kind of struggling with finding that balance right now, and I'm not very good at balance. You know, I've shared that a lot over here, but you know, I'm working on it. I think one positive that has come out of me trying to live like this year in the moment, being present, is that I'm much more aware of each and every small moment of, like, even making a cup of coffee and like how great that cup of coffee tastes. Or, you know, like Boo Radley today, it's so beautiful outside and he loved running around the yard. He was like sniffing every grass, and the neighbors called him and he ran over, you know, and it's like I noticed like each and everything like that, you know. And so, you know, like he was last night, kept on jumping off the bed and whatever, and I was like, you know, I think back in the day, long before our dogs got sick, I would have got mad about something like that. But I was like, Boo Radley, what's going on? You know, I picked him up, and I don't think he knew what was going on. I think he just knew he didn't want to be in the bed one moment, and he jumped down, you know. But it's like I'm very conscious of those moments, to appreciate those moments. And maybe that's me living in the moment. Maybe for a long time, I haven't, because sometimes to look at each and every moment is painful sometimes, you know, to know that this moment is passing and it's not going to be here, you know, much longer. And so sometimes it's painful, but it also forces me to live in gratitude, and I'm grateful for that. So this is a healthy meditation for me today. I think I needed to hear this and remind myself. I mean, I remember it every day because it's my main goal that I'm working on this year. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.